What's up, everybody? El Aficionado, I'm back, coming to you here from my School of Lower Education. This is the Amateur Hour Weekly Show, and this week it's a pod special. What is going on at Manchester United? Me and my infinite wisdom with my new haircut and my baby-faced look, I've come up with 5 reasons, count them off, 5, why Manchester United is struggling. I want to hop in that right here, right now.
So what? Take England behind Giroud. Competition in the world. No team has won it more than Arsenal.
Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today to witness or to talk about the failing of a great team. Yes, that team is Manchester United. It's a long tale, involves panic buys and bad sales and bad hires. Bad decisions all the way around from top to bottom, and a bunch of lost points. But here we sit, Manchester United with their worst ever Premier League start, 10 points through 7 games, out of the League Cup, struggling in Champions League. A huge game coming up here in just a little while against Valencia. I will be watching with rapt attention. This is a big period for Manchester United and Jose Mourinho. Long has my heart desired to talk about, as an Arsenal fan, how Manchester United struggled. And here it is. Here it sits. After all the years of them making fun of us for going through these transitions and these struggles, struggling to get top 4, now here they sit in the same position. So I will try to remain as bias-free and get on United as little as possible, but no promises. Where did today's video idea come from? Well, that's a good question. It came from you, the loving and loyal viewers of El Aficionado. I put out a Twitter poll and 11 people answered. The most popular answer, what's going on at Manchester United? You want to get in on that? Follow me on Twitter. The @'s right below here. Follow me on Instagram, the same @. Subscribe to the channel. Like my videos. Let's get in. This is a media empire. We're in the growing way. Let's get you in on it. You can be one of the first ones. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump right in. The first of my 5 wonderful, fantastic points about why Manchester United is struggling is that their fans are impossible to satisfy. Yes, you, Manchester United fans, are impossible to satisfy. Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed it? Certainly I would have. Why? Because you're spoiled for trophies, and you're spoiled for fantastic world-class players. There is no way, year in, year out, you guys can continue to win Premier Leagues and trebles and Champions Leagues and League Cups, and to have players like Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo and Paul Scholes and the whole host of Manchester United legends that there are. It's just not possible. The club cannot do that year in and year out. Your expectations are too high. Paul Pogba, with all his haircuts and his dances, cannot replace players like Paul Scholes and Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney and all the rest. Jose Mourinho, for all his antics, he cannot replace Sir Alex Ferguson. It's just not possible. You cannot replace the GOAT. He is a media show. That's why he stayed on this long. A successful career drawn out too long. Jose Mourinho, it's time to go. Manchester United no longer has needs of your services, but I, for one, am surely Jose in. So if you are, at me on Twitter with the hashtag Jose in. I think he should stay, mainly because I don't like United, but that's just me. Ed Woodward, the hapless director. He sat here through it all since 2013 when Ferguson left, and he's had the impossible task of seeing a whole cast of star players and star performers leave and being asked, all right, replace them and let's get back to where we were immediately. Not possible. It was destined to fail. United fans are too spoiled for success. The second point in this 5-step trio, or whatever the word for 5 is, of why Manchester United is struggling is the managerial carousel. David Moyes, chosen one, the replacement to Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager of all time, failed. He was not the chosen one. He is given 8 months to do an impossible task, and he could not do it. It was beyond his abilities, his capabilities. Not saying he couldn't have gotten there in time, but at the time he was handed the job, he was not ready for the pressure and the expectations of Manchester United. The worst thing that David Moyes did, he cleaned out the backroom staff of Sir Alex Ferguson. Behind every world-class manager, there is a world-class backroom staff. People who do everything else besides manage. That is a very necessary part of the game. I mean, Jurgen Klopp has a throw-in coach. There's someone who gets paid to do nothing but throw-ins. David Moyes was not capable of replacing Sir Alex Ferguson. And then they brought in the Dutchman, Louis van Gaal. Gosh, what a terrible decision. All you need to know about Louis van Gaal's tenure at Manchester United was that it was dreadful. If you need an example of this, look at his touchline dive. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It'll make you wonder what Manchester United was thinking. Into the current day, we have Jose Mourinho, the 55-year-old Portuguese, sits at the helm of Manchester United. Why was his decision to be hired a bad decision for Manchester United? Well, let's look at it. They were in a transition period. They were tired of being in a transition period. They wanted to be in a success period. And who is a successful manager? Jose Mourinho. It was a panic buy. It was. What do rednecks do when there's any kind of inclement weather, even in the slightest? They go to the store and they buy all the milk and cigarettes that they can. Well, Manchester United did that in a club sense. What did they do when there was the slightest bit of trouble at the club and they needed results ASAP? They went out and bought the best manager on the market, and they spent mega money on players like Paul Pogba, and Alexis Sanchez, and the like. His style was destined to not fit United. From the very start, he was a panic buy, and he will soon be sacked, probably for good reason. But still, that'll be the third manager in 5 years. A club like Manchester United, that is unacceptable. And they need a long-term solution. They need to quit looking for these short-term, hit big now solutions. The third step in this 5-step Manchester United demise problem is the backroom problems making their way onto the field and the stands. What backroom problems do you say? Well, I would say you don't watch soccer if you don't know the backroom problems. I mean, just look right now. Fans want Woodward out. Fans want Mourinho out. Fans want Pogba to stay. Pogba and Mourinho are fighting publicly. Mourinho and Woodward are fighting publicly. Players are scared to do anything. They fear the Portuguese Darth Vader who will choke you to death with his cold, dead gaze. I mean, it's a mess right now. It's a mess. I mean, the Pogba Mourinho thing is the worst to me. Your star player, your manager have to be on the same wavelength. These are the two that are supposed to be the club's symbols, their icons, the ones leading them forward. Instead, they're actively working against each other and fighting each other and doing nothing but destroy each other. In the club, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Jose Mourinho's attitude at press conferences, unacceptable. Ed Woodward's backroom strategies, unacceptable. No direction, no drive, They don't really know where they're going. That's the point. They know where they want to be, but they don't know how to get there. That's the problem. Transfer market dealings are all wrong. They went out and got Alexis Sanchez mainly just to deny Manchester City and to steal a player from Arsenal, not because they needed Alexis Sanchez. They signed him at a position where they are absolutely full up on players, and they paid him the most of any player in the league. And his effectiveness at Manchester United is 0. I mean, the man's played double the minutes of Danny Welbeck this season, scored 0 goals to Danny Welbeck's 4 at £500,000 a week. It's insane. I mean, right after Ferguson's left, they signed Mourinho Fellaini for then like a £29 million fee. In 2013, that was more than Mourinho Fellaini will be worth in a million years. So, I don't know. It's questionable. I know playing the piano made Sanchez seem like a good buy, but it did not. Sorry, United. The video was cool though. Yeah. I have no words. But the one thing that's missing most from United's transfer market dealings is that transcendent star is going to lead them forward. I mean, always Manchester United had a player you could look to and be like, this guy is world class. This guy's it. And Pogba is world class, but not at Manchester United. And that's never going to change. I'm sorry, Manchester United fans. You need to let him go to Barca for what he's worth. He's probably already lost value. So you need to let him go for what he's worth and move on. It is time to move on from the quick fixes. Step number 4 on the 5-step plan of Manchester United's demise, Mourinho's tactics. They're just not Manchester United tactics. Honestly, his X's and O's, his result getting is not bad. The way he counters other team styles, that's what he does. He's a big game reactive manager. He is not going to go out and enforce Manchester United's style on other teams. He's going to let them try to beat them with their style while he counters it with everything he has. If you want an example of this, look no farther than last year's when he had Ander Herrera literally follow Eden Hazard around the pitch. It worked fantastically, shut Chelsea down. But what Manchester United fan or a backroom manager or backroom staff wants to watch a Manchester United team chase Eden Hazard around instead of take it to Eden Hazard and drive him into the dirt and remind them that they are Manchester United and that they are nothing below them. Those tactics were never going to work at Manchester United. The fans don't want to win ugly. They don't want to win defensive. They don't want to They don't want to be reactive. They want to be the aggressors. They want to score a lot of goals. And they want to remind everyone that they are the best every single game. And that is not who Jose Mourinho is as manager, and it never has been. And that is not going to change. Another thing about Jose Mourinho's tactics, his rigid system is not productive for the team stars. Alexis Sanchez, Paul Pogba. Lukaku is benefiting mainly because of the position that he plays. But Marcus Rashford really being frozen out. Another flaw in Mourinho's managerial style. He tends to freeze players out. Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, a lot of young players. They're being frozen out. They're going to be the next Mo Salahs and Kevin De Bruyne's of the world that Jose Mourinho left off the squad, and now they're world stars. So, not that his tactics are terrible in general. In X's and O's wise, he actually makes some brilliant managerial moves, but they are not moves that suit Manchester United. The fifth and final point on this 5-step system of Manchester United demise, patent pending, is no passion whatsoever. What was the feature of Arsenal that made the fans more angry than anything? It was the lack of passion. And now you're seeing it play out at Manchester United. Oh, the irony. I love it. But Mourinho, a cold figure, stalking up and down the sidelines angrily getting mad at players in press conferences and blaming the board for not signing people and calling his center backs trash. They are, but you can't say that to the press. And the players are statues on the field. Your local pub side has more creativity in the center of the field than Manchester United does. I mean, they're just statues out there. They were going through the motions. The Champions League, they're not going to challenge for the Champions League. They're not. They might as well just get out of the Champions League early, focus all their attention on the league, because they're not going to challenge. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment for Manchester United. They lack creativity. They lack passion. They don't want to be there, and it shows. That's why Manchester United are in the position they are now. So I'm squarely Team Jose in, only for the fact that because I want United to lose. If you're a Manchester United fan and you are Jose in, I would like to hear your reasoning, because I disagree with you completely from the perspective of actually wanting victories. So be sure to like and subscribe. Leave me your comments below on what you think. Get in on the action on Twitter and Instagram. And, before I go, there's one last thing I would like to discuss. It's the irony. The irony of the Jose Mourinho and Arsene Wenger. Two famous managerial figures, two great managers in their time, have stayed too long. That tried to fly too high, and now they're both crashing to the ground. Jose got to watch Arsene crash out, and he laughed the whole time. Two bitter rivals, but now the same thing is happening to him. I can only wonder what Arsene Wenger is sitting there thinking somewhere. I wonder if he's having a laugh, or I wonder if he's looking back and crying at the terrible times he had to go through. I would be very curious to find out. But anyway, on to brighter and happier things. Best thing I saw this week, Liverpool v Chelsea, both parts, fantastic. Couple of absolute worldies. Hazard's goal should win the Puskas. Sturridge's goal is an absolute banger. Couple of 1-1 draws. Two fantastic games. Eden Hazard's getting a Player of the Year. Mo Salah is back to Mo Salah from Roma. The worst thing I saw this week, poor Cardiff City. Man, they can't get a win. They deserve to win. They can't get it. I'm sorry, Cardiff, you're going down. But I do like you. Neil Warnock. Still watch that pod special by Men in Blazers. It was fantastic. Neil Warnock's a great guy. Cardiff's going down. So thanks for tuning in today. Like I said before, about 4 or 5 times. Get in on Twitter and Instagram. The ad is right below you. Stay connected. Get subscribed. Get in here, like this video, and have a great week. I will see you guys next week.